Mercedes-AMG Interview Lounge.
Let's move on to someone who loves and adores Alex almost as much as me. We have an actual fox on the other line. Everyone say good morning to Barbara Corcoran. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, and I am after Alex. I want that Alex.
Oh, Barbara's on.
Yeah. She when the three of us hang out, she ignores me. I don't exist, and she just crawls into Alex's lap and takes a nap and purrs like a kitten. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
That's just not true. Come on.
No, it's a little true. I'm eating beans and rice. It's so good. All right. So let me ask you this, Barbara. If Alex received a stimulus check, what's the best thing he can do with it?
This morning.
What should he do with it?
You did receive it, yeah.
It needs to go to the right place for the right reasons.
Okay, well, yeah. If Alex received the check, because he's married to someone who's very rich, I would say go out and buy yourself a nice coat or whatever the hell you want. That's what you should do with it.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Because it's like a Christmas bonus, but that's not what it's intended for. Yeah.
What is it intended for? Because we're not going
to keep it. Yeah, what's it intended for?
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. It's go right ahead. Go shopping today. But for everyone else, treating it like a Christmas bonus is ridiculous because it's a one-time check. It's never going to happen again, or I shouldn't say that, but no one expects it to happen again. And you want to dole it out in the smartest way possible. So what I would do with a $1,200 stimulus check is look at my credit card bills, because most of us have them, see which credit company is charging you the most interest, and make the largest payment on that card first. Then I would go right down the pecking order based on interest rate and make minimum payments so that I could stretch it out and give myself a little room, like a landing room where my money's going to stretch as far as I could. That would be the first place I would spend it, assuming you don't have to use it to buy groceries for your kids. And, of course, all that kind of stuff comes first. But credit card is responsible for most of people's worst expenses right now, and that's a great use for the money.
Okay, Let's make it perfectly clear. Alex is not going to go out and buy something frivolous. He has decided to do something that he really should do before people start bitching and moaning and yelling at us. Tell Barbara what you want to do with your stimulus check.
Yeah. So I got my stimulus check. My credit cards are all paid off. That's something every single time I get a bill in, I got to pay it. That's my OCD. So I looked this morning. I saw my stimulus check, and I said, you know what? Maybe I should take Barbara and Elvis out to a nice dinner. And then I decided, but maybe I want to pass my stimulus check forward to somebody that really needs it.
Yes, what a great guy.
And there's a million people who need
it. Today on my Instagram, I'm going to post something, and whoever... the comments that are going to go down there, I'm going to go through each comment, and I'm going to choose one person, and I'm going to pay my stimulus check forward to them.
Wow.
Hey, you know what,
Alex? Beautiful thing.
You know what? With that, though, you don't really know. You do know for a fact that people who are showing up every day to save lives at hospitals, they need lunch and stuff like that. That's a surefire, perfect thing to do. Something like that. There's no doubt.
Why don't you let him spend his own money?
Maybe I should contact, my local deli or my local restaurant that's helping out and give them my stimulus check where they can supply food for the local hospital then.
That would be so great. All right. Well, listen, Alex, different people need it for different reasons. And Barbara's, hey, first and foremost, make sure you have food on your table for your family. Secondly, if you can start paying down your debt, that's all stimulus. Do it. But helping yourself and helping others is just a great thing to do if you can do it. All right, Alex, we're going to let you go because Barbara has lots to talk about. And I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay?
No, don't let me go. I'm on with my girlfriend.
You're on with your girlfriend and your husband at the same time. This is not good.
Elvis, I have to say, no wonder I like to be in Alex's lap all the time. Who would you rather hang out with, a guy with a heart like that or a guy like you? Come on. I picked my man. I'm staying with him.
There it is. Wow, burn.
You stop burning me. Here's what's funny. When the microphones are on... Alex, hold on. When the mics are on, she's so evil to me, and when the mics go off, she's so loving. It's no one knows the Jekyll and Hyde thing that's going on with Barbara. All right, Alex, I'm going to call you later. Yes. I love you. We're going to drop you now. I'll call you in a little bit. Okay, I love you.
All right, drop me.
You're dropped. Goodbye. Goodbye. Get him out of here. Seriously, if we could just dig the ditch a little deeper. Now, Barbara, it's a pleasure to have you. And I know that even though you are hunkered down, you do have cameras and microphones in your place. And you have been everywhere in answering people's questions because people are frightened when it comes to finances and just life in general. And you always have the right thing to say. What is the number one thing people want to talk about right now with you when they have access to you?
Fear of the future. They want to know how they're going to make ends meet. Even people who are hopefully soon going to be collecting unemployment because they've been laid off are all frightened of what the future brings. And half the advice is very like nuts and bolts. Do this first, do this second. I could certainly share that. But most of it is sheer fear paralyzing people. And I think what is the greatest enemy to all of us is our headset. I mean, I wrestle with my head every day to get my head on straight, to make sure that I see this opportunity as an opportunity. I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not looking for my unemployment check, but even for those folks who are waiting for the long-awaited unemployment checks, and there's 4 or 5 week waits in many of the states. So what are they going to do? They're going to sit home and worry? What should be happening is they should be thinking, what's going to happen when I have more control later on, when I get back out into the job market? What will I need then? Because taking control of things you really can take charge of will make you feel so much better, like getting your resume in order, signing up for an online course, trying to figure out what skill set you don't have that you would need. Because when you get back into the job market, that's what the focus should be right now. You're going to have to compete with everybody out there. Everybody's not just going to walk back into their old jobs. It's going to be a competitive market. So you got to sit home, regroup, think about what's important, what's my skill set, what could I do better, what would I change if I could, and how do I get ready for that? And then you start to feel a sense of control versus just, when's my money coming? And that's the headset that so many people have right now.
Hey, Barbara, I know that you know a lot about rentals and stuff. You've been in real estate in New York City for years and years. Allie Gold, who works with our show, says her lease is up June 1st. Her landlord says he will not do month to month. She has friends who are being forced to move out this month because landlords just, for whatever reason, I can't answer for them. But finding a place to live when you have no money coming in, that's got to be another frightening thing that you could be facing. Like, what is your suggestion for people like that?
Well, what Allie should know, as well as her friends, is she should just stop paying her rent if the landlord does not want to cooperate. Because right now, by federal law and state law, that the landlords are not permitted to evict you. It's been frozen for 3 months, and likely, in my mind, it's going to be extended well beyond the 3 months.
Really?
So let's put yourself in the position of the landlord. So your tenant wants to deal a little bit or waylay part of their rent, a reasonable request. If he's a son of a gun and just doesn't want to deal, you can fight it by simply not paying your rent. Just even if you have the money, don't pay your rent. All of a sudden the cards are in your court because the landlord can't throw you out. That's the major thing you have to bear in your mind. There's no way he can have you evicted.
Wow. Barbara, if you have a little bit of money left over, say, and you wanted to treat yourself to something very small, what would you suggest people could do right now for themselves?
Well, I would sign up for an online course. I'm taking online harmonica lessons. I know that sounds stupid, but I've always wanted... Well, don't laugh. Listen, when I play my harmonica 6 months from now, you're all going to be jealous. But here's the rub. No, really, but it's so true. Every course online is being offered at 5% of the original cost. So make a list. I always wanted to, and it could have to do with work, like I always want to do graphic design. Well, your excuse is gone. You could take a 2-week graphic design course and apply for a graphic designer position when you get out of this mess. Or you could do something frivolous for yourself. Learn really how to do yoga, or get into working out every single day to get 15 pounds off, versus most of us are going to come out of this with 15 pounds on. There's so much you could do because you have the time.
What you're saying is frivolous. No, yoga and working out, not frivolous. And investing in a course, you're investing in yourself. I think those are all very, very great ideas. Gandhi, what's your thought for Barbara?
What would you say right now about investing in the stock market? Do you think now's the time to do it, or we should stay away because it's really tumultuous?
Hey, listen, I'll add my opinion to everybody. Everybody's got a different opinion. If I had a lot of money, which I do, I reinvest in the stock market because I lost so much money. So I thought, I want to hang out here when numbers go up. But if you don't have spare money, and right now a lot of people don't have that headset, like, I don't care if I really lose most of this money. Most people aren't there. I don't think you should do a thing with the stock market. It's deflated 30%, and every expert might say, this is a great time. But if you're going to lose sleep at night over that money that it might not make up 30% over the next year or two, then why do it? I'm just not a believer in that. I think sleeping at night is your number one priority. Whatever your risk tolerance is and whatever you can feel comfortable, even if you put it in a savings account with 1%, 0.5% interest, that's a terrible investment. But if it's going to make you feel healthy, it's the greatest investment in the world.
By the way, someone just said, hey, wait, telling people not to pay their rent is, what about this? You know, your landlord also has a mortgage to pay. They have bills to pay. I think what Barbara said, and correct me if I'm wrong, if your landlord says that you're out, stop paying your rent because they already have a deposit, which will pay another month. I mean, you know, it's just, I think that's what you were saying, correct? I mean, you're not saying just, like,
yes,
screw
sort
the
of,
landlord.
but no, I don't mean, hey, listen, I'm a landlord. I'm not a tenant. I own my home, thank God, and I own properties where I have tenants. But the minute this thing hit, I sent every tenant a letter saying that this is a hard time. If you need help, please call and let us know what you need help with. Not that I don't want to collect rent. I'm not that nice a person. But I also said, but let me have proof that you've been unemployed because of the virus. Send me your unemployment stub, etc., and what you can afford. But I think if a landlord won't work with a tenant and ignore this reality that we're all in together, then you have to play hardball. It's not your first step. It's your last step to hold back on your rent for a landlord who just doesn't give a darn, you know?
Barbara, there's a lot of airlines that are offering like no change fees, and hotels are trying to get people back later in the year. Is now a good time to go online and purchase, say, an airline ticket or a hotel stay for much later in the year when you think things are going to be better, and since there are no change fees or no cancellation fees?
Yes, wholeheartedly. I go to on vacations with my girl trips every other year. This is my year coming up. So the three of us already booked our flight in August to Italy because we love Italy. Now that's crazy, you might say. Why planning ahead? It wasn't to save money. It's so that we had something to dream about. Because when I look at the news, I'm thinking, will we ever be able to really travel freely around the world like we used to? Will we laugh over a glass of wine in a sidewalk cafe? And it's hard for me to visualize that. But the minute we book that trip, no downside. We could cancel whenever we want. And I put it on my credit card. What the heck? But we're all dreaming about it. We're all talking about our trip to Italy. We're going to get the mileage out of that between now and August. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But we're all believing it will, and we think it should.
Okay. Yes, Gary, what's up?
You know, Barbara, I keep seeing all these commercials that encourage you to consolidate your credit cards into one. That's one company is going to have the solution. What's your opinion on that?
Well, it really works, but you have to deal with a reputable company because this is how it rolls out. Let's say you have 5 credit cards with all different interest rates. Most of them, in fact, all of them will be high. They will promise you that they'll take all those interest rates down to a much lower percentage and give you one bill a month. That makes sense. Yeah. But what you have to realize is they also make money by doing that. All right, they go back and very often negotiate with your credit cards for you. So that you really just have to make sure you're dealing with someone who's reputable. And the easiest way to find that out is simply see what their reviews are online, because consumers always tell the truth. But yes, it's a smart move to make if you have, say, 3-4 credit cards and you're overwhelmed with the bills that are coming in.
By the way, something you brought up, and a friend of mine did this the other day. Since he has all the time in the world, he actually got on the phone and held on for 45 minutes per credit card, and he talked him down. He got his percentage rates down. You can do that with the cable companies, but it's a long wait, and they're hoping that you don't want to wait. You'll just hang up and go, screw it, I'll pay full throttle. Hey, it's Straight Nate. What do you have a question for Barbara? What do you have?
So Barbara, my fiance, and I, we were looking at possibly buying a house in the next few months, but obviously the housing market's kind of frozen and not a lot of listings are coming on. What would you recommend as far as people that were looking to buy a house in the near future? Is that totally off the table right now, or should we just wait, or what?
I think just waiting, that phrase alone is never a good idea. Okay, if I were you and your fiance, I would stay in the market in this regard. I would watch every single sale in the local area that you're looking to shop. I would know what sold for what, why it sold for what, how quickly the price came down, which ones aren't coming down. And then what happens is you become an expert just on numbers, square footages, which blocks sell best, just by watching online. You don't have to get out to actually see the houses. Why I believe that's a smart thing to do, and by the way, I should add, get pre-qualified for your mortgage so you actually know what kind of house you can afford to buy if you're planning to do financing, which most of us do. But the beauty to knowing your local market is when a sweetheart deal comes through, you know it. You just know it. You could smell it. You go, what? That price for that house? And you jump on it. The reason why you want to jump on it, even though it's an uncertain time, and you need really to have great courage to go forward and do that, is because if you don't jump on it, some other savage out there is going to grab it as fast as you want to grab it. And then what you negotiate with the homeowner, who's obviously very eager to sell, or they wouldn't be giving such a great price, what you do is you negotiate a long closing date. And let me tell you why. A typical closing is like 3 months, but you say, no, I need a 6-month closing date. Why? You want to know when this whole coronavirus ends, and nobody knows when it's going to end. You want to know if the market is higher or lower, and nobody knows. And if it's higher, you're going to happily close on that house right away. If it's lower, you could go back, even though you signed a contract, and renegotiate the price, and the seller will renegotiate the price with you because they know that they're only going to sell it for less if they put it right back into the marketplace. So I believe you should, be an animal.
Thank you.
I guess.
You'll be an animal. Barbara Corcoran is with us. I just want to remind you what's going on. And she has nothing else to do today, so we're going to keep her on for 4 hours. It's the 4-hour Barbara Corcoran special. You had no idea.
No.
Barbara. Yeah, but yes. Come on, Barbara. A lot of people who had 401ks, or they had them. They still have what's left of them. They're all concerned about whether or not they're going to see that number bounce back up. And I know that this is just all hypothetically thinking about this, but people need to be patient. People need to understand it's going to take a while. Yeah. The money went away much faster than it's going to come back, I'm assuming. So, do you have any kind of thoughts about when they're going to try to be back to where they were?
It's like predicting what's going to happen with the stock market. No one knows. But let's say that you lost a third of your portfolio because most of the 401ks are vested in the stock market, the great majority. So if you lost 30%, hey, it's not really a loss. I don't look at it that way until you take the money out. Then you've frozen that number and you've really lost some money. So the smartest thing to do is just stay in the 401k. Don't make any changes whatsoever. And if you really need money, the smartest thing to do is borrow against the 401k because it's permissible by law. You pay yourself the interest. You could borrow up to $100,000 and then you pay it back because it's a stimulus package. That's been changed. And so leave it. If you possibly can, just leave it and wait it out because you really haven't lost the money. It's a theoretical loss. That's all it is right now. If it rides back up, you haven't really made that money till you cash out. But definitely do not liquidate the 401k. Borrow against it. It's the same difference, except you don't pay taxes. And that's why it's a smarter thing to do.
Well, I wonder, what if people are actually trying to sell a house and they need to get, I think Jody on line 24 has that question. Jody, say hello to the woman who's trying to steal my husband, Barbara Corcoran. What's going on, Jody? What's your question?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing okay. What's your question for Barbara?
My question is, I'm actually in the middle of getting a divorce. My ex might be listening too, which is interesting, but we were talking about selling. And we were supposed to sell this spring. That was the plan. But now the plan has coronavirus all over it. So do we wait and see what happens? Do we just go for it and keep going with the selling? I have a few relatives that are real estate agents that one says go, one says wait. So it's like, what do you do?
Jody, almost half the houses on the marketplace have been taken off the market totally because people are smart enough to realize it's uncertain times unless they're really desperate to sell. They're not going to take it off, okay? I would say, how desperate are you to leave your husband? I mean, if you could manage to live with him a little bit longer and wait it out, it's much, much wiser. There's no way you're going to get a great price on your house right now. I don't care what price it is, where it is, because there is no movement in the market, and the only people that are out there are the guys, and mostly guys more than women for whatever reason, out to get a great deal. They're going to really, really take advantage, and they're entitled to it if that's the way they shop, all right? But you don't want to be the sucker that sells your house to them. So I would just make a list of what you originally fell in love with your husband. There had to be something there, and just focus on it every day and keep living with him until the market clears. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
well,
you know what?
actually,
I think
my ex-wife and I already moved out because it was a little too. It was becoming too much. We got along, which is great. It's an amicable thing, but my wife and I just don't mesh together. So we work great as a team, so we're going to sell this house really well. So, but I was on the fence of like waiting, and because of the situation, but money's tight, so.
Hey, if you have different opinions there, you could list the house for a week and watch what happens. You won't hear a thing. And then you've won your argument. Let's take it off the market. But move back in with her. You sound like you could get along a little while. Come on. Why have the extra
Here's
overhead?
the thing. Why wait? You should agree. Okay, we're going to put it on the market, but if no one's going to buy it for what we want and what we have to get out of it, we can't agree to sell it to them. Hey, thanks for your call, Jody. Thank you very much, Barbara. A lot of people are texting in saying they're loving what you're saying. You're waking up their minds and making them rethink things that they have been mashed down and trying to hide from him for several weeks now. But the number one thing people are loving. They're all going to go out and try to learn Spanish because you're saying, learn something.
Oh,
go
my
online.
gosh, you're crazy. Elvis, you're nuts.
No, I'm not crazy. I think.
Yes, you are.
My opinion is this: if someone asked me, I'm not a business person as nearly as successful of a mind as Barbara Corcoran. I have decided to suspend all decisions. Selling things, buying things. Overspending on anything, investing in anything, including a new shirt. I don't need it. You don't need anything right now. Everything, in my opinion, is in suspension mode. And so unless you have to do it, if you're in a situation where you have to get money, understand you could probably get it, but you're not going to do as well right now. It's like when something's Mercury's in retrograde, they say don't sign contracts. They say don't make decisions. I have a feeling that Mercury has never been in so much retrograde as it is right now. So I don't know if you agree with that. Is that sort of a good philosophy?
It's a great philosophy for you because you're going to feel comfortable with it. What I'm doing instead, I'm sorry, Elvis, is I'm shopping the real estate market for great investments because all the people that didn't return my call 3 months ago are calling me. And I just don't want to be that person. 6 months from now where I look back and see these deals and say, my God, what was I thinking? But that's my trade. That's not your trade. But maybe buy a radio station. What the heck?
No, God, no.
They got to be cheap.
No, even if things were great, I wouldn't buy a radio station right now. I know it's the last thing. Anyway,
Okay.
Allie Gold, who you answered her question about the landlord, she says thank you. She's been very stressed. And a lot of people have been stressed about a lot of things, and you've helped a lot of us out. Even me, Barbara. You drive me nuts, but I love you.
Fine.
We're going to let you go. Where are we going to see you next? How can we learn more about Barbara? Are you online every day? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not really online. I'm on TV every day because it seems like that seems to be the forum that I'm making the greatest impact. So I'm doing Good Morning America, whoever invites me, I sit up there and I answer questions. That's all I do, wherever. But you can find out where I am by going online, of course. Thank you. Nice
Barbara, I
being with
can't
you.
wait until we can all sit down and have dinner in a restaurant or at your house.
A real
Barbara
dinner.
throws the best.
Yes.
The best dinners in her kitchen. Her clams with linguine with clam sauce, unbelievable. You have the
Everybody
best,
likes that. Yeah, I agree. Right. It's the only dish I know how to make, though. Okay, happy to have it.
It's fantastic. All right, we love you, Barbara.
Right.
Go learn your harmonica,
Thank you.
and we want a full concert in 5 months. Thank you.
Very well. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, Barbara. Bye-bye, Barbara. Barbara Corcoran, thank you so much for your time. Love her.